Determine if the relation is a function and explain. Looking at this mapping, our values in the domain are called our inputs, and the values in our range are called our outputs. Now, in a mapping, a relation is a function if each input has exactly one output. And we could see here that -4 is mapped to the output -1. -2 is mapped to the output 4. 0 is mapped to the output -1. 2 is mapped to the output 1. And 4 is mapped to the output 4. We do not have any inputs mapped to more than one output. In other words, we do not have more than one arrow coming out of a value in the domain to two different values in the range. So the answer here is yes. And the reason why is for each input, there is exactly one output. Let's look at this mapping here. We have 2 mapped to 6, 5 mapped to 7, 6 mapped to 9, and 6 mapped to 10. So we have 6 mapped to 9 and 10. And for that reason, we are going to say no, not a function. And why not? The domain value of 6 is paired with 9 and 10. Keyword is and. A mapping or a relation is a function if for every value in the domain there is only one value that is mapped to in the range. Let's move on here to number 3. We have a variety of points, and what we can do to solve this is we can create a table. So let's create a table with our x and y values. Let's put our x values here on the left side, and let's order the x values in order. 2 is mapped to 2, -1 is mapped to 5, 5 is mapped to 2, and 2 is mapped to -4. Now, is this relation a function? It would be a function if for every value x there is only one value y. It would not be a function if a value x is mapped to more than one value in the y. So looking at this, we have 2 is mapped with 2, -1 is mapped to 5, 5 is mapped to 2, and 2 is mapped to -4. You can see that this is not a function. No. And why not? 2 is mapped to 2, and 2 is also mapped to -4. So I'm going to say no. Right? When x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2 and -4. Alright, looking at number 4, we're given a graph. And this, for the graph, we can apply the vertical line test. The vertical line test. And what does the vertical line test tell us? If we place a vertical line anywhere on the graph, it can at most go through one point in the graph. So if you look here, We have a vertical line, and it goes through 2 points on the graph. So I'm going to say here, no, not a function. And why not? The graph does not pass the vertical line test.